I'm excited to actually get people using DeFi. Like the subset of people who are crypto people who've actually used DeFi and done on-chain transactions is like less than 10%, right? We, I think, have had a long period of time where like we're in the late part of last cycle. I was looking around going like, everyone's still on Binance. Like we haven't actually brought them on chain. NFTs did. NFTs did a good job of getting people to like install MetaMask and do all of that stuff because OpenSea was able to kind of get traction before the centralized exchanges were able to stand up NFT marketplaces, which had good sides and bad sides. But I'm excited for people to try DeFi. Like there are a lot of people out there who have not tried all of the DeFi projects, right? They haven't played around with Curve or Uniswap or whatever. So I think that we've got amazing protocols and they're really robust. They've had years of Lindy. They're hardened. They work really well. And it's time to make sure that everyone feels comfortable using them.
So do you think DeFi is ready for like a more mainstream?
100%. Sorry, it's ready at the protocol level. The protocols are ready. Like liquidity is there. You can put, tens of millions of dollars into Aave, right? Like for the average user, that's like more than enough, right? Like, most people are not dumping $10 million worth of ETH into Aave, right? For the average user, it works. For the average user, it's cheap. Transaction execution is cheap. We've got multiple L2s. Liquidity is good. Spreads are still tight, even lately. It's a UX issue. We haven't created the onboarding process. These are crypto native people that have crypto. They've got crypto on centralized exchanges, right? It's a very easy hop for them to withdraw some USDT or USDC or ETH from Binance into Infinex and now suddenly have access to all of these different protocols in a way that they haven't to date. So I think it's ready, but it does need that UX layer. And so that's what we're trying to build.
What do you think will be the thing that gets centralized exchange users excited about DeFi? Like, what's the use case?
I think that speculation is still the thing, right? Like the people who are on centralized exchanges right now are there for speculation, right? We have, I would argue, more fun speculative things to do in DeFi, right? Certainly, more efficient ways to do things, right? Cheaper ways to do things, more efficient ways to get leverage, et cetera. So, there are a whole range of things that I'm sure people would love to play around with on chain, but for whatever reason, don't feel comfortable, right? I'm sure there's still people who are waiting for the latest meme coin or whatever to get listed on Binance before they, decide to buy it, right? You can go to pump.fun, like the source is there, right? So whether or not you think that that's a good use of people's time, if people want speculation, that's one of the use cases, right? And until we can pull people off centralized exchanges and like get everyone on chain and have self-custody, I think we just haven't done our job. Like from a DeFi perspective. And so like I feel a very strong obligation as an early DeFi founder, like the job's not done yet. Building the protocol is not enough. You need to actually bring it to the people. We waited and waited and waited and hoped that they would come and they didn't. It's, like the path forward is obvious, right? We need to go to them.
So, okay, so for crypto holders on centralized exchanges, I think you're totally right. People are there to speculate. So how do we get users who are probably maybe not even on centralized exchanges, just like regular people who need access to financial services? Maybe they're in emerging economies. Maybe they need access to stable coins, or maybe they need to take out a loan and they don't have good credit, or maybe, like Aave would be a good place to be, but they have no idea how to use it. So like, how do we get to those people?
I think for someone who doesn't have crypto, getting on chain still requires an on-ramp, right? You still need fiat on-ramps and off-ramps. There are, I built an on-ramp, right? Back in the day, we allowed people to buy Bitcoin with cash, right? From like 2015. So I know what that looks like. I know the challenges of that. We need to first prove in my view, right? Certainly, this is my view on Infinex, right? Infinex needs to prove that we work for existing Binance users who have crypto. If we can't convince them to move over and that the UX is better and that being on chain is better, we haven't really demonstrated that we should be doing stuff for retail users who are not in the crypto ecosystem, right? If we can solve that problem and we can genuinely bring people on chain and have the majority of people in crypto doing things on chain instead of doing something in someone's database, then I think we can start to have the conversation about how do we, go and solve emerging markets and, stablecoin and payment rails, like, I think we have all for a very long time had a view that like international remittance is a thing that should happen in stable coins, et cetera, right? But it's hard to do it through a centralized exchange. You need on-ramps. There's still friction. Like we're not going to solve every problem, but if we can solve the onboarding and UX and security and self-custody problems, I think a whole bunch of people will turn up at the last mile to solve those problems. There's not really an incentive right now to try. There's a lot of different on-ramps, who are doing a good job, but the addressable market is still too small, right? I think that if we can really, make a credible case that we are as easy to use as Facebook, right, and that like genuinely people can get crypto and do things in crypto safely, for 1 billion people. The last mile of how to get in and out, like that problem will be solved very quickly. The incentive will be there, but it's just not been there. We're in our own little bubble at the moment.
Okay, so success for you looks like getting people from Binance onto Infinex first.
Yes.
And
that's step one. If we can't do that, we haven't earned anything else, right? If we can't convince someone who is trading on Binance daily to move on chain, then we haven't done the job.